Good day, welcome. This is your Daily Med with Lady V. Today we go to the Hall of Faith and we'll find a female. Her name is Sarah, the wife of Abraham, the mother of Isaac. Hebrews 11, verse 11 and 12. We find her also in Genesis chapter 17, verse 15 through 21, and Genesis 18, verse 9 through 15. Also in Genesis chapter 21 and verse 1. Today, as we take a keen look at Genesis chapter 17, begin from verse 15 through 21. It says, God also said to Abraham, as far as Sarai, your wife, you are no longer to call her Sarai, her name will be Sarah. I will bless her and will surely give you a son by her, and will and I will bless her so that she will be the mother of nations. Kings of people will come from her. Abraham fell face down. He laughed and said to himself, will a son be born to a man 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? And Abraham said to God, if only Ishmael might live under your blessing. Then said, yes. God said, yes. But your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call his name Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him, an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him. And as for Ishmael, I have heard you. I will surely bless him. I will make him fruitful and will greatly increase his numbers. He will be the father of 12 rulers, and I will make him into a great nation. But my covenant I will establish with Isaac, whom Sarah will bear to you by this time next year. So we see that God first changed Sarai's name to Sarah. He says, you shall be the queen or the mother of princes. This is the promise that he made to Abraham, that at 90 years old his wife would have a son. The patriarch laughed in joyful wonder, not in unbelief, because his faith did not waver, according to Romans 4, verse 18 through 21. Abraham and his wife Sarah were childless. And as we see from the scriptures, they were beyond the age when they could have children. But God gives life to the things that are dead. And he himself speaks of things that do not yet exist as though they were already existing. And this is what he says, Abraham, you are going to have numberless posterity involving many nations. Look at Genesis chapter 18 as we see from verse 9 to verse 15. He says, where is your wife Sarah? They asked him. They're in the tent, he said. Then one of them said, I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son. Now Sarah was listening in the entrance of the tent that was behind him. Abraham and Sarah were already very old, and Sarah was past the age of childbearing. So Sarah laughed to herself as she thought, after I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure? Then the Lord said to Abraham, why did Sarah laugh? And said, will I really have a child now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son. Sarah was afraid, So she lied and said, I did not laugh. But he said, yes, you did laugh. Abraham's laugh was in amazement, it was in wonder. But I guess Sarah had a little lapse in faith and she laughed, acknowledging how old she was. When she heard that she would have a child a year later, a little bit of unbelief got in. But we see that she was rebuked by the searching question, is there anything too hard for God? So, as we see, this indicates a little bit of doubt. But life in general for Sarah, if we look at Hebrew chapter 11, we can see that generally she was a woman of faith. Hebrew chapter 11 and verse 11 and 12, it says, and by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear children because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. And so from this one man, and he as good as dead, came descendants, numerous as the stars in the sky, and as countless as the sand on the seashore. So we see from Hebrew 11, it indicates that Sarah was a woman of faith, basically. God renewed her youth, as we see in Hebrew chapter 21, verse 1, because in Genesis 21, verse 1, because the angel says at a certain time next year, and we find that there, where he would come and he would visit her, and sure enough, she would conceive and bear a son. So God renewed her youth so that she could bear this child and nurse him. And as we see, Hebrew 11 tells us it is by faith that Sarah was miraculously empowered to conceive when she was 90 years old. The record clearly states that she was past the time of life when she could bear a child. But she knew that God, who had made her the promise of a baby, that he would not go back on his word. She has shatterproof faith that he would do as he had promised. If he say so, then it is so. When we look at Sarah's faith reckoning, 1, she received strength to conceive seed. Number 2, she was delivered of a child when past the age. Number 3, she reckoned or counted God to be true to his word. Number 4, she was equal to being dead as far as having children was concerned. Number 5, innumerable seed came from her by God's power through faith. She is the mother of many nations. When you look at her, God did the impossible because he is the God of impossible. Where the possibility ends with human beings, the impossibility begins, because God now takes up that which is impossible with man. He asked her, is there anything too hard for God? Is there anything that God really cannot do? No. So by faith, we can trust him. We can believe his word. Faith in what he says. And if he says so, it is so, and surely he will bring it to pass. Because he who promise is faithful. So let us trust him today and stand upon his promises. God bless you. Thank you again for watching. Please like, please subscribe, please share, and please visit my YouTube channel, Daily Med with Lady V. Be blessed.